Welcome to Building Fortunes Radio. Make sure you check us out at buildingfortunesradio.com. Along with our marketing partners, we're here to help our PM Marketing Network Lead customers build their businesses and make the world a better place. At Building Fortunes, we know how much your business means to you and the people important to you. So spread the word, tell a friend, join our newsletter, and go make a difference in your world. Now on to our show with your host, Peter Mingles.
Hello, everyone. Peter Mingles here. You're listening to us on Building Fortunes Radio. That's www.buildingfortunesradio.com. For all those people that might be unfamiliar with my voice, my name is Peter Mingles. We run this radio station, and we've been running this for a real long time. But over the last year or so, I asked Ray Gebauer to host this spot on Building Fortunes Radio, and he does a great job for us. And one of the reasons why I wanted this is because Ray is a gentleman who is just like one of those really great guys in the industry. So I wanted to have a platform for him to be able to share with you his opportunity as far as product and opportunity as far as working with him, because he's one of the smartest guys I know relative to this industry. That's number one. Number two, he's an author. He's written plenty of books. Number three, if I'm going to keep score, he's a gentleman that's done it all before and doing it all again, so you find him in the working mode in this industry, and he's super knowledgeable about health and nutrition and finances and a whole bunch of really cool things like that. So we wanted to have him highlighted and up on front on this platform. So if you are looking for a good guy to work with, you could work first with Ray Gebauer no matter what he's doing. So he's a good guy, won't steer you wrong, and we do this radio show all the time. You can even listen to this again and the previous radio shows on buildingfortunesradio.com/Ray Gebauer. So Gebauer is spelled Gebauer. That's Gebauer, and Ray is Ray. And when you put them both together, you can actually hear the previous radio shows that we've done. So I always mute myself out because Ray gives some great stuff, and I take some notes, and I think I'm going to probably do the same thing all over again today. So Ray Gebauer, thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks, Peter. I'm happy to be here, and it's always my joy and pleasure because I'm doing my part the best I can to make the world a better place, and including your own personal world. And so that's the point of life, I think, is to create value for ourselves, for our family, for each other, and that's why I love teaching and sharing and inspiring you, empowering you, so that you can live life bigger and better and make a bigger difference. We're all making some difference already, but we want to, I hope, wanting to be making a bigger difference that has a bigger reach, can touch maybe instead of hundreds of people, maybe thousands or millions of people. So I'm hoping and I'm believing that what I'm going to share tonight and what I've shared on other programs will help enrich your life and empower you, inspire you, and educate you to do exactly that. In fact, tonight I'm going to be talking about a formula for a better life. In fact, the last couple episodes I talked about the AAA formula for life and then the Triple H formula for a better life. And tonight I'm going to talk about my Triple W formula for a better life. And I like this acronym I made up just recently, ABLE, ABLE, and what stands for A Better Life Epic. Now, the word epic means a long narrative poem that celebrates the feats of a hero. So it's like a long story. It's like your journey in life in which you make a difference, where you're actually a hero. You take risks and you help people. Maybe you save some lives. You enrich lives. You make a difference. Epic can also mean grand, like having a grand life. It also can mean something that's big and big size and of long duration. So I'm just guessing that's probably the kind of life that you would like to have. That's an epic life, not a life where you have a lot of regrets and like, man, I wish I would have tried more, taken more chances. I wish I hadn't given up. I wish I would have done this or that. So I want to enable you using this acronym, ABLE, having a better life epic. And I'm pretty sure that what I share tonight can contribute to that. So let's get started. Tonight, June 19th, 2019. So what do you think the first W is? I got 3 W's. And it's not the World Wide Web. These are my 3 W's that I think are really critical dynamics to have a better life that's actually an epic. So the first W that I came up with in my formula is a 3-letter word you're familiar with, but it's sort of fundamental and foundational to everything. And that is the letter or the word why. So, and let's look at why from several different perspectives in all 3 time zones. Okay? Let me do a little bit of time travel here. Go back to the past. When we ask the question why in reference to the past, that can be either empowering or disempowering. I'm concerned that most of the time when we ask why in reference to the past, it's disempowering because it's like a complaint, like, why did this happen? And there's no cheese down that tunnel. But it's a good chance you've asked that question, like, hey, that wasn't fair, that wasn't right, why did it happen? And, it's okay to ask that a couple of times, but some people ask that 1,000 times, and it's just a negative energy loop, and it doesn't get you anywhere except going maybe downhill, keeps you stuck. Or you can ask why in reference to the past in a way to discover a valuable lesson. So why did this happen to me? And looking for what good can come out of this disaster or this disappointment. So the real mistakes are the ones we don't learn from. And so all the mistakes are in the past. So you have to ask yourself, well, why did this happen in a way that this can actually make me a better person? How can I see it from that perspective? Now, of course, why is also a useful question to ask about right now. So why are you doing what you're doing? There's got to be a reason. Whatever you're doing, there's got to be a reason, conscious or unconscious. And most people live their life unconsciously. They just sort of do things based on their programming rather than making careful, thoughtful choices. It's just they go by habit and what they've been conditioned to do. So if you're trying to build a business or build a better life, well, why? What's driving you? Or if you're just sort of settling and you're in a job, why are you still in the job? Maybe you should be for a while longer, or maybe you need to upgrade your life. Why are you using your time the way you use your time? Is that really the best use of your time? Are you wasting time, or are you investing into your better future in how you use your time? So sometimes you got to get personal with yourself and ask yourself those kind of questions. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Am I happy with where it's taking me? Or am I just treading water? Am I just like on a treadmill? So you got to be honest with yourself and ask yourself that. And maybe most important of all, the why question in terms of the future. Let's travel to the future. Because the word why, the question, can really empower us to create a better future and a better life for us in the world. So why are you doing your business? Is it just to make money? Or is it because you want to make more money so you have freedom and security and help more people? Maybe it's because you want to do traveling. You've never been able to travel the world. Maybe you want to help the unfortunate, orphans, or you want to take a stand against some of the evils in the world, like sex trafficking. And so many kids are kidnapped into slavery and used as sex tools. I mean, it's just horrible. So and it's one thing to take a stand against that, but it's another thing if you have the money and resources where you can do something, contribute, get involved directly or indirectly. So sometimes we say, what is your why? What is your reason? To create a better life and better future, you've got to have a strong reason or a why. So that's part one of the 3W formula, triple W formula, the why. And that's a good place to start. There's a famous book called Man's Search for Meaning by a psychiatrist that was in the Nazi concentration camp. And I've read that book several times. It's a classic book. And, Man's Search for Meaning revolves around the question of why. What's my purpose in life? Why am I here? So let's move on to the next W, which is related, but it's a little broader. And the second W is wisdom. In the Bible it says the beginning of wisdom is knowledge. Actually it says the beginning of wisdom is knowledge and the fear of God. But it does say the beginning is knowledge. Now we all know that knowledge can be powerful and useful. Knowledge can be a waste of time or useless if you don't use it properly. So wisdom is having knowledge that's accurate and true, and you're applying it in an intelligent way where everybody wins. From a biblical perspective, I would say wisdom is seeing life the way God sees life. In other words, it's seeing reality. It's seeing the truth. And for most people, for all of us to some degree, the truth as we perceive it is distorted. We have a distortion in our perception of the truth. And we want to get as close to the real truth as possible because otherwise your mistakes are unavoidable. So wisdom, King Solomon, who is said to be the wisest man who ever lived, he said that the main thing is to get wisdom. Now, I like what Stephen Covey said in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Or maybe it's actually a different one of his books. But he said the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. So for me, and I suggest for you, the main thing is to seek wisdom, to become wise, to become mature. And we can't do this all on our own. We need coaches, we need mentors, we need seminars, we need workshops, we need interacting with people that have been there and done that. Which, by the way, is one of the advantages of working with me because, I'm 67 and I've had 40-some years experience in this industry. So I've had a lot of good experience. I've built an organization that now is over 1 million people. And so I've accumulated some wisdom. And so that you want to be around people who are wise because that gives you an advantage. Because maybe you can figure it out all on your own, but it might take you 10 or 20 years longer. And so the shortcut to getting to the top is being associated with people that are further along than you are, and so that can compress the time frame, and you can get there faster than you would have on your own. But just life in general, aside from business, wisdom is so foundational. In my mind, that's the single most important quality or attribute that you can have. Because if you are truly wise, you're going to always choose the truth. You're not going to lie. You're not going to steal. You're not going to cheat. You're not going to mislead people. You're not going to hurt people. A wise person does what's right. A person who is wise makes better decisions and wins more. And if they lose, they're resilient. They get back on the horse. They get back in the race. And they win more, and they make more of a difference. And you'll have a better marriage, you'll have better finances, better emotional health, better physical health. If you're wise, you don't eat junk food. You don't stay up all night or go to bed late. You create healthy habits. It's like you brush your teeth every day. You do certain other health-enhancing activities because you're a wise person. So wisdom is so fundamental, foundational to life, including your spiritual life and everything else. And in this particular episode, we're really more focused, I guess, on your business life. But, everything's connected to everything. And you don't want to, pretend everything is totally separate. So these principles of being wise and asking why really apply to your entire life, especially if you envision, being an ABLE, having a better life that's epic. So let's move on to the third W. I like this one a lot too. So we talked about why, talked about wisdom. The third why in my formula here for you, and this is a winning formula, and that's the word, winning. There's an old saying, but one of the coaches, John Wooden, I'm not sure who it was. I think it was him. He said, winning isn't everything. Winning is the only thing. Now, that was in the context of sports, but I'd like to broaden that. If you want to have the most fulfilling, happy life, you want to live life to win, and the way for you to get the biggest win in life is to make sure with everybody you interact that it's a win-win. Not like, well, you win and they lose. That's not really going to work best for everybody. You want to think, and this is where wisdom comes from. Comes out of wisdom. You think win-win. Stephen Covey talked about that in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. You begin with the end in mind. That's the why part. And you want to create a win-win for everybody. Because when you think in terms of how can I help other people win bigger and have a better life, for them to have a more of an epic life, a better life, when you are coming from that perspective, you get the same thing you're trying to help other people get, which is the ABL, a better life, and a life that hopefully can advance and unfold into an epic, that long narrative that describes your successes and the difference you make in your journey through life of making a difference. So think in terms of winning, not in terms of winning where someone else loses. In most games and sports, both sides don't win. It's just one side wins. But that's just an artificial game. And there's a place for that. But in general, in life, think win-win. Think about how can you win and win in a way that you take a lot of people with you to the top. So in the financial arena, if you want to win big and say make $100,000 a year or $1 million a year, which I've done before. I've made over $10 million in this industry. And I'm in the process of doing it again. I had a big setback, but every setback can be a setup for a comeback if you operate out of wisdom and your why is big and strong enough, and you can win again. Especially when you've won before, it's easier the second, third, fourth time to win. Some of the biggest winners in the world financially, like Steve Jobs, you know how many projects were failures? He won real big, at least financially. He didn't win with his health. But if you want to win a lot of times, you've got to go through a number of disappointments or failures. And I hesitate to use the word failure because it has such a strong negative connotation. I prefer to say, actually, there are no failures. There's just times where you didn't get the results that you wanted. But if you label it with that F word of failure, then it sort of erodes your sense of value and self-esteem. So So let's say I failed, say, well, I didn't get the results I wanted, or I didn't get the results I expected. You fell short. Well, so what? Everyone does that. That's just the way life is. So don't be afraid of the so-called failure or things not working out, because Babe Ruth was, for many years, he was known as he had two titles, the strikeout king and the home run king. So he struck out more than anybody else, but he had more home runs than anyone else. I think someone broke his record, Hanks or somebody. I don't know the sports names that well. But the point is, if you want to win more often and win bigger, you got to be willing to face the disappointment of things not going well and what some people would call failure. I would avoid that word because the psychological baggage that's sort of negative with it, like I said, and focus on winning. So 7, 8 people say no, 9 people say no, one says yes. Okay, that's a win. So you focus on the winning element, and you focus on being a winner. Now, here's another valuable distinction in the whole arena of winning. We can think of winning strictly in a future sense. It's like, I'm going to win someday. Well, I can become a winner. Okay, well, that's okay. But here's, I think, a more powerful way to think of winning. Instead of thinking about becoming a winner, which is, that's okay, but more empowering is to say, I am a winner. And because I am a winner, that's why I win. Even though there may not be any evidence for you or anyone else to see that you are a winner because the results are not final yet. I mean, the game's not over. Halfway through the game, are you a winner? Well, we don't know until the final score, except that at the beginning of the game, before the game starts, you can declare yourself as a winner. Rather than going into the game, and it could be the game of business, the game of life, rather than saying, well, we'll see how this works out. Or we'll give this a try. We'll do the best we can. That's not a winner mentality. It's better to give it a try than not even try, but that's sort of a weak place from which to come. You're much more powerful when you see yourself before the game starts as a winner. So someone says, hey, are you going to win this game? And maybe we're talking about your business here. Are you going to win at this business? Well, say, of course. Well, why? Because I'm a winner. And if this one doesn't work out for some reason, the company goes out of business or whatever, then, I'm joining a different game. But I am a winner. So rather than thinking of yourself as learning how to become a winner, just declare yourself to be one, start thinking like one, acting like one. I remember a few years ago, I was in a coaching program, and I got, talked into this, convinced, and I'm glad I did. And then, so the funny thing is, I misunderstood the conversation. That I thought the invitation was for me to join this coaching program for free, because he didn't mention anything about cost. So I thought, well, this sounds really good. So yeah, of course. He said, well, by the way, the cost is $25,000. I said, what? Are you kidding me? So I had some reservations. I almost didn't do it, but I became convinced the value would exceed the cost. And so with some reservations, I went ahead, and I'm so glad I did. It was probably the best $25,000 I've ever spent, and I've spent over $100,000 on personal development and training. But one of the things that I learned from this that I remembered that I'm going to bring up right now, it's this whole idea of declaration. This is so valuable. This is through Mike Smith, and he started with the Freedom Course and went through mastery of coaching. But one of the things I learned was rather than thinking of becoming something, declare yourself to be that right now, like I already mentioned. But specifically for me, it was like, we want to become coaches, and, that was a stretch for me at that point to even think about becoming a coach. But he said, no, you don't think about becoming a coach. You just declare yourself as a coach. Now, maybe you're a really bad coach. You don't know what the heck you're doing, but you just make it up. Say, I'm a coach. I don't feel like one. There's no evidence I'm a coach. There's no evidence I could ever become a coach, but I'm just going to declare it. Just like the 13 colonies did when all the odds were against them and they say, hey, enough is enough. We're not going to take this anymore. We declare ourselves to be independent, free and independent. Well, was that true? Were they free and independent when they said so? No, of course not. It actually took 7 years, the Revolutionary War, for them to actually make that declaration of independence. And we have their document by that name, the Declaration of Independence. But first they had to see it, then they had to say it, then they had to seize it. The 3 S's. To build anything, you need those 3 S's. You got to see it in your mind. You got to say it out loud 1,000 times in everybody, and then you seize it by going to work. So that was a real shift for me, to not think of myself simply as maybe, possibly, somehow becoming a coach, but saying I am a coach, and I'm not a good coach, but I am a coach deep down. I just need to unlearn some things and learn a few more things, and I'll get better and better. Anything worth doing is worth doing poorly at the beginning. If it's worthwhile doing, well, then you figure it out. I mean, how many babies are born knowing how to crawl or to talk? None of them. But, they learn because it's built in. They're designed to walk. Well, crawl and then walk and then run and to talk. But at the beginning, they were terrible. Learning to ride a bike. When I first learned to ride a bike, do you think I was good? No, I fell down 90% of the time until I learned. So anything worthwhile, if there's a strong enough why, and you have wisdom, then you know you are a winner. But part of the problem is, as we grow up through grade school and high school, we get reprogrammed to feel like a loser. And it basically sabotages us. And so it's impossible to win because a loser can't win by definition. If I'm a loser, if I'm a nobody, if I'm not good enough, why would I waste my energy even trying to be a winner when I'm not a winner? But see, that's all conditioning. It's all just a damn lie. You're not a loser. Now, you may lose in certain situations, but inherently, deep down, the true you are a winner. So start thinking that way and acting that way. And you're at least a winner in process. You're a winner in development. So that's one of the fundamental principles and dynamics of life, I think. On top of having a clear, compelling why, like the Bible says, without a vision, people perish. Without a revelation, people perish. They don't make it. You have to have wisdom to make the right decisions, and that's a work in progress as well. And you've got to see yourself as a winner. And here's even a stronger word. See yourself as a warrior. A warrior is someone who is willing to go to war, to fight whatever battle. And they fight from that perspective, believing they're going to win, because they are winners by design. So you have to take on that warrior mentality of being in action. Warriors don't sit around and meditate. No, there's a time to meditate and contemplate. There's time to rest and time to run. But in terms of your business and life, many times we have to take on that warrior mentality as part of the winning formula of being a winner, because you are one. So, just to wrap all this up, my AAA or W.W.W formula here is to have a better life. that's an epic where you can be a hero and help people and make a difference that's significant, you've got to embrace in a healthy way the why and the purpose, be purpose-driven, and learn to be more wise and careful and learn from others, and then come from this place of being a winner. Not winning as something to achieve, but winning as someone who you are, and because you are a winner deep down, even though it may not seem like it or look like it or feel like it, you really are. Just like you are a human being, even if you may not feel like it. You know, so that's my winning formula. And I really encourage you to embrace this and you try it on and run with it. And if you want more specifics and want to work with someone who can help guide you along this path of the empowering why and wisdom and winning faster, call me up. And I'd be happy to work with you. That's what I do. I don't have any coaching program I'm trying to sell. I'll coach you for free because I don't need the money. What I need is more people on my team so I can make a bigger difference in the world myself. I want to make a difference for 100 million people. And I can't do that myself. And so I'm looking for people that can resonate with me and want to work with me, particularly on the business side, because I can help you to get to where you want to go a lot faster and avoid some of those mistakes that most people are making, and help you to be more, to experience the reality or manifest the reality of being a winner, who I say you already are. You just need to learn a few things and develop some new habits, and that's where I can come in. But if not me, find somebody else that can help you get there. Don't try to be a Lone Ranger. Do it yourself. You know, things work better in partnership with coaches. And so if you want to get a hold of me, here's my private cell phone number. Okay? It's 714-488-9074. That's 714-488-9074. I'd love to have a conversation with you on the phone. You can text me first if you want. But if you're open and willing and hungry and motivated and teachable, you're the kind of person I want to talk to and connect with and explore the possibilities of what we can do together to give you that a better life epic, and empower you to do the same thing for others, to enable people to have a better life, to make the world a better place, so we all win in a better and more beautiful way. So thank you. This is Ray Gebauer. Again, the phone number is 714-488-9074. Don't call me if you just want to chat. Call me if you're serious about having a better life and getting some help along the way. Okay? Thank you, Peter, for having me on. And this was, I enjoyed sharing from my heart. So thank you. God bless everybody.
You are so welcome, and thanks, everybody. Now you know why we have Ray Gebauer every Wednesday at 11 p.m. Eastern. You can go back and listen to this again, and you can listen to the previous ones on buildingfortunesradio.com/Ray Gebauer. So, Ray, thanks so much for all the things you do and the words of encouragement as well, and the people that you help. So we appreciate it. Thanks, everyone. Bye for now.
You've been listening to Building Fortunes Radio on buildingfortunesradio.com. Thanks for listening. Be sure to check us out every Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time for the designated Building Fortunes Radio segment with Peter Mingles. Be sure to check out the buildingfortunesradio.com website for our featured segments. It's been our privilege to have you listen in. At Building Fortunes Radio, we wish you the success you deserve and are willing to work for. So spread the word, tell a friend, join our newsletter, and go make a difference in your world.